Alabama 1st and 10 on the 12. Again, Houston. He's got a hole. He's over. Alabama touchdown.
I'm just wondering if your listeners know how good a football player you were. I can still see you playing that fullback, knocking those players out of the way. And I believe I could have run behind you.
Martin, I can remember when we came to summer and you were playing fullback up there, and I saw you in the weight room and watched you work out in the weight room. And you pick up, you were strong enough to pick up the whole weight room. I wanted to fix it, and I running back to the biggest mistake we ever made.
The Martin Houston Show with national championship winning fullback Martin Houston, giving you 1 hour of intense, hard-hitting analysis from an insider's perspective. It's time for the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports, Tide 100.9, and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Good morning. Welcome into the Martin Houston Show on Tide 100.9 on your radio dial, Martin Houston Show fan page. You can watch us live at Martin Houston Live on Facebook and on YouTube at Martin Houston Live, also at Martin Houston 35 on Twitter. And you can also follow at, but Tide 109 on Facebook as well. Glad to have you as a part of the program. Good morning. Welcome into the Martin Houston Show, the Sound of Bama Sports. Your show, your team. Want to invite you to get in on the conversation at 205-342-9904. The Taco Casa hotline is open for business. Thank you for getting up and at us with us on this beautiful Monday morning. We got a great show. We got a great show lined up for you. Want to invite you, like I said, to be a part of the conversation. And don't forget, all of those of you who join us via our social media outlets, let me hear from you on your chat as well. Remember that this is a day that the Lord has made, so let's rejoice and be glad in it. Take some time today to notice someone, love someone, serve someone, be the difference you want to see in the world today. All right. Well, where do you start? Of course, you got to have a little March Madness review of the weekend and just in general, who all's brackets got busted up. I know on Friday I'd asked the question, would you rather have your arch enemy advance and have a solid bracket, or would you rather have a busted bracket? And to a T, every person said, give me the busted bracket. Well, for CJ Watson, it's a good thing that CJ said busted bracket, because he had the Auburn Tigers and the Tennessee Vols advancing pretty deep. Well, they're both at home this weekend. And I guess the question, and it kind of several questions kind of connected together around the SEC tournament, kind of gets me going. And that is, was the SEC overrated, and which fan base is the most upset or disappointed today in terms of the SEC? So we can talk about that, talk about the Sweet 16. And of course, it's time for spring football to get going full speed as they're coming back from spring break. So we'll actually look into the depth chart for Alabama football. Way too early, just estimated depth chart without any proven practices or anything like that. But we can talk about all of those things right here on the Martin Houston Show. And once again, I want to remind you, if you want to get in on the conversation, it's 205-342-9904, 205-342-9904. The Taco Casa hotline open for business. Good morning, Mason. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing good this morning, Martin. I'm doing good. It was a bit of a disappointing weekend, but ready to get back to it now.
Disappointing weekend. Is that because Bama went down, or just overall? So, and,
Well, it's really just an overall thing. I mean, it is disappointing, of course, because the Alabama lost, but at this point, it's kind of to be expected.
yeah,
So
Bama did what they've done all year, and the weekend kind of makes entire sense for Alabama and the SEC, I guess, in some ways, as you look at it. So we definitely want to and get things going. But like I said, lots to talk about this morning. Or which fan base is most disappointed today? Uh, was the SEC overrated? What's next for Bama? Javon Quinley going down with a serious knee injury. And I'm thinking that may mean he may return, or if he doesn't return, at worst case, I'm thinking he may be transferring, but he's saying his college career over. What are your thoughts in terms of that? So we got a lot to talk about this morning. So we'll get right to it. Once again, you can get in on the conversation and give your thoughts and opinion at 205-342-9904. That's the Taco Casa hotline. So welcome back in. Let's bring in let's get to Curtis Lewis. He is definitely with us this morning. Good morning, Curtis. How you doing, sir? Hold on. Let me see. I'm in a different place this morning. Got a little extra audio this morning. I have to figure out what's going on there. So, all right. Hey, let's get the break here so I can figure out what's going on with the audio. Mason, go ahead and take us to break. We'll come back on the other side and we'll bring in Curtis. We'll go along in the second segment.
This is a no-nonsense message from 3. Small business insurance usually doesn't cover everything you need. It's long on pages, short on coverage.
100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Another beautiful day today with a sunny sky, the high 77. Increasingly cloudy tonight, the low 55. Tomorrow, mild and windy. Thunderstorms developing by afternoon. Continuing tomorrow night, those storms could be severe. The high at 78. I'm James Spann of the ABC 3240 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 43 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Scott Smith and Sophomore Design, doing business for 17 plus years, specializing in graphic design services, commercial printing, promotional products, advertising specialties, and so much more. Basically, any and everything you would need to advertise, promote, and grow your business. Through strong partnerships, strong customer service, and creative ideas, they'll help you market and grow your business. Give Scott a call at 205-292-4680 or email scottis@comcast.net and visit them online at sophmarkdesign.com.
Interact with the Martin Houston Show by calling us at 205-342-9904 or tuning into the Martin Houston Show on Facebook.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show on Tide 100.9. Apologize for that technical difficulty. Doing the show from from a remote location. Had a little technical difficulty there, but we are back on the air and ready to get things going. So I want to bring you into the conversation once again, 205-342-9904. Curtis Lewis, thank you for your patience. You're in with the Martin Houston Show. What's on your mind, sir?
Hey, Martin, it's a glorious day. It is a glorious day. The birds are singing, the doves are leaping, and the tigers are weeping. You can't beat a day like this. Bama wins as an Auburn debacle. Oh, you gotta love it. I ain't seen so many dead bunnies in my life since watching that game yesterday. It was you couldn't beat it. It was a hurricane.
Curtis,
you gotta love it.
I didn't get to see the game, but yeah, I didn't get to see the game, but it seems like they got drawn from the way it seems from just looking at the stats and stuff and reviewing the game and hearing people commentate on it.
Oh, it was a beautiful game. I mean, I've never seen Auburn choked so bad. I mean, I guess it came into the world of reality because even though you're not playing on the Auburn campus, you still got to play basketball. And that's one thing that they could not do. They haven't done it all year long. They can't win away from Auburn. And I guess if they don't have that little blue and orange, puking little colors around them, they can't do it. I mean, Jabari Smith was losing balls. He wasn't even to put a dunk away. He couldn't dunk the ball. That guy in the middle, what's his name, Kessler?
Yep.
He got stuffed at the rim by another kid who was about half his size. And then you got the guards just tucking up 3-pointers just from like in the third row of the stands, left and right, and couldn't even find rim on the shot. I mean, they just fell apart.
Yeah, let me ask you this, Curtis, because I love to get everybody's thoughts on this, because it leads you to a couple questions. Because today, as it stands, Arkansas representing the SEC, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's look at something. Which fan base, first of all, you have to say is the most disappointed? If you look in every bracket, if you go to the West bracket, let's look at the West bracket here. Gonzaga, Bama beat. Arkansas, Bama beat. Okay. All right. Let's go to the South. Houston, Bama beat. Okay. East, oh no, they don't have anybody in the East. And then to go to Midwest, you got Miami, who Alabama beat by like 30 points. So Alabama has a legit shot of having one to two teams, potentially 3 of the 4 teams could be teams that Alabama beat. So once again, is the SEC, first question, was the SEC overrated, and which fan base is the most disappointed today in terms of what's going on in the basketball world?
Well,
think it's a close race between most disappointing family between Kentucky and Auburn.
Yes.
Auburn because they had such a chance of extra high expectations, but Kentucky, they think they always should be there, and they went out in the first round, so that really put them in a seat of just discontent. So I gotta say Kentucky's probably the most disappointed, even though Auburn had the better team.
What?
But at this point here, yeah, the SEC was highly overrated.
Yeah, because Tennessee was playing the best ball and they got beat by Michigan. I don't know if you realize this, Kurt. Michigan had not won back-to-back games since February 8th and 10th. So for a solid month, a little over a month, every other game they lost. And then they came and beat Tennessee, who was the hottest team in the SEC, supposedly. I said it was Arkansas and Texas A&M, but because other than us beating Arkansas and then them losing in the SEC, they didn't lose a game down the stretch.
That's true.
So
that is so true.
Yeah.
So I don't know how you can explain it. I hated that JQ went out, and when he went down, we knew right then and there, at least I did, that, well, that's it for us. We're out of this deal.
Yeah.
But a lot of us knew that when we got in it in the beginning. But JQ going down was a killer for us, and I don't think he's going to come back to play his last season with Alabama if he comes back to college at all.
Yeah, he
go ahead and get rehab to go pro.
I don't know if you saw it. He didn't waste any time. Now his mind could change when he starts hearing from the scouts and all of that stuff. But he didn't waste any time. The next day, he put on his personal Instagram, never thought my college career would have ended this way. So he didn't really leave room to come back to Alabama or transfer anywhere else. So I think it could be a mistake. I don't see the young man, especially coming off of a knee injury with the season he had. I don't see him being a first or second rounder. That doesn't mean he won't go. Of course, in basketball, you have so many options. He could go overseas for a few years, make $1 million, and that's not chump change. So, but I think that if he leaves, I think that's the route he's going to take, Curtis.
Yeah, I think it is. And at the worst, he may end up in the G League for a couple of years, but he should be making money at that point.
Yeah.
Well, I do have a question. Even on Alabama's team, on the Auburn team especially, I don't have any NIL deals with these kids. Are we just not interested in basketball players in our state going on NIL deals, or are we just not hearing about NIL deals for these kids?
That's a great question because, I don't know if you knew this or not, but Quinterly was, from a social media standpoint, Quinterly was the most popular player on the campus at Alabama. He had more followers or friends or likes, whichever way you want to do it, than anybody. So, but I've not heard of any NIL deals really, coming those guys' way. So that is a great question, Curtis. I hadn't even thought about it. That's something worth looking into. And you hadn't heard a whole lot from the guys like down at Auburn, even like a Jabari Smith, who's projected to be a first-round pick. You would think that he's had some stuff, so, but I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
all right.
That is kind of puzzling there.
Yeah.
Kind of puzzling.
We'll look at it, and hey, we'll get you on some spring ball. I know you'll be ready for that tomorrow.
Oh, I'm definitely ready for that. I'm so ready for that.
All right, thanks, Curtis. Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you, Mark.
Appreciate it. Have a good one. All right. Hey, Pat, you're in with the Martin Houston Show. What's on your mind, sir?
Good morning, Martin.
It is.
An Auburn Tiger, not bad and he goes down in flames. Couldn't have happened to a nicer fella.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if we're happier Auburn lost or more disappointed Alabama. Or more disappointed that Alabama didn't win.
I'm happier Auburn lost. but man, did you get my text on the oatmeal pie ice cream?
I did, Pat. I also got your text during the Alabama game that could we start back talking football. I figured we'd give it one more day at least of basketball before we get too deep into football.
Okay. Man, hey, that oatmeal pie ice cream, my grandson, he said it was pretty good stuff.
No, we'll see how many gallons of oatmeal ice cream gets sent freeze dried to Nick Saban for to see if he can pick up the ice cream habit.
Well, I'm hoping that they serve it to our new recruits at the Saban House. That when they'll get the ones that come on for an official visit. I think they get to go to Coach's house, and that may be the dessert of the day there. We'll see.
Yeah.
I thought it was so funny though. Whenever the oatmeal pie ice cream, I mean, that little Debbie oatmeal pie ice cream. Wow.
Yeah.
What do they think of next?
Uh,
But hey, man, it's I'm getting so excited though about this spring football here in Alabama, and that what we're going to get a chance to see, and hopefully that Ty Simpson and Milrow, one of them is going to be come out and be able to be a solid backup because that hey, Bryce is he ain't just real big, and it does bother me about just how durable that he may be. What do you think?
well, it's when you look at his stature, it's easy to have concern, Pat, over his durability. But I don't think the kid's ever missed a game. I'm talking about like high school and whatever. And of course, you can get a freak injury or whatever. But I think, from a how to protect himself, how to get down, when to get down, even when he gets sacked, a lot of times you'll notice he's going down or he kind of flows with the sack. He doesn't get hit hard a lot, and he had plenty of opportunities last year with that offensive line. Um, so you do have a concern there, but it's just really based off of you just looking at stature, not based off of anything that has happened. And then as far as a backup and his backup and stuff like that, I think both of those guys are going to give us some peace and comfort. The question I have most of all, Pat, is Milrow, when you look at it, is kind of you look at his build and his athleticism and all that, and you think he requires a different style of offense than Bryce Young. And so, if that is the case, then I think you may give Ty Simpson the edge because Ty is more the same style. But hearing Coach Saban talk last year, um, if Milrow has worked on his passing, Saban said he's the most athletic kid on the team, and quite a few guys have said he's the fastest guy on the team, or one of the fastest guys going into last year. I don't know if he still is with the new additions and all this stuff with the speed work in the offseason. Some of these other guys may have gotten faster, but you can't keep that type of talent off the field, and I expect. Even if Ty Simpson is the guy, Pat, that would be the backup. I think you remember when we won our first national championship and McElroy was the quarterback and not McElroy, yeah, McElroy, but McCarron was the third string quarterback. But had McElroy went out, most people said that AJ would have actually been the guy if they had to go a whole season with him. He was actually the backup. And I think you'll see that. So Milrow will have a role, I think, this year. Todd Simpson could technically be the backup based on how they play it.
Yeah. Well, I'm just I am anxious to see Milrow as a wildcat quarterback that can throw the ball a little bit too.
Yeah.
And it may be that we have a role for him. We'll see.
Yeah. I mean, think about when you make a statement, Pat. and I'll let you go after this. Think about when you make a statement. Most athletic kid on the Alabama football team. How do you keep him off the field for 2 years in a row, especially with the transfer portal? I think they will create a role for him somehow, some way. You can't go to. I mean, I couldn't believe we went to Slade Bolden when we had a Wildcat this year when we had him, but we did. So we'll see what happens. Thanks, Pat.
Hey, Slade may have had better hands than you think.
No. I'm talking about from a Wildcat.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's experience. That's what he was when he was in high school. All right, have a blessed day.
Have a good one. All right, thanks. All right, hey, Alan, you're in with the Martin Houston Show. What's on your mind, sir?
Hey, I don't want to let you slide right now. Well, I see we still got the same offensive coordinator, but you know what? I'm going to let you slide with that a little bit because he ain't gone yet. I'm going to let you slide right now.
I'm still working on it.
Okay, as long as you're working on it. I've noticed over the weekend they were saying that Bama had a shoot around and only one player showed up, and then the next morning only two players showed up. Do you think that the coaches lost the locker room and they're saying, well, you have no leadership and they couldn't get them motivated? That starts with the coach, in my opinion. If the coach can't get them motivated and get them up there, I know you can't make them play with the portal and everything. Like, things have changed over, I guess, the last 5 years. But when you got to find a way to get your players motivated. I mean, Coach K had to do this. Everybody had to get their kids motivated. And for the potential Alabama had this year, there was a lot of people picking Alabama to go to the Final Four.
Yeah, I think there's some.
There's the potential at all.
Yeah, Alan, I think you're owning something. I think there is something going on in that locker room. I was thinking that before, but when you read at the volunteer workout, the last, it was actually reverse of that. I think at the last shoot around, only Quinterly showed up.
Okay.
And now think about that for a second. Only at the volunteer workout in March Madness, one player shows up.
And that's what you play for. It's a ring. And only one player shows up.
And I know it's volunteer and all that stuff, but that spoke volumes to me in terms of just how connected this team is. That worst case, if if you and I had a chance to go just shoot around, most likely I could find somebody to go with me, much less couldn't get one of your teammates to go shoot with you. So that was concerning. And like I said, and someone else pointed out to me, and I didn't see this, so I'm not saying true or not true, but they said when the camera showed the team, one guy was crying. And that was Jawan Gary. Said the other guys just kind of they may have looked disappointed, but they no tears, no disappointment. I mean, I'm sure they were disappointed, or maybe they weren't. I don't know, but
they feel like relieved the season is over.
Yeah. So
I live in bed, and I'm in Tuscaloosa, like I said, I drive truck. But I come to Tuscaloosa a couple of times, and I've just managed to see some of the players, and they be in the mall, and they're by themselves. But I can remember back in the day when you see the basketball team, they were all together.
Yep.
Or Cassidy, you saw them all together. You saw one, you saw three, you saw two or three of them. You saw JR with them. And then you had players that when they left, Cassidy and them coming back, and JR coming back to see the the players that were still playing, and just to see them, because they missed them. You don't see that now. You don't see the players coming back to see the old players. You don't see the players hanging out together. The football team hangs out together. To me, it seems like the basketball team will be a tighter knit group simply because it's less of them, and they spend more time together. But you don't see none of them together. They all doing their own thing, and a lot of that affects you when you're on the court. I mean, you get to know each other's chemistry, you get to know each other's mannerism when you're off the court, and you don't have that. If Coach Oates has lost all that, he might well get, he got his head, he might well get his coat and go ahead and leave.
Yeah. And Alan, if what you're saying, like I said, you know, and you're right about what you used to see. I'm not saying I hadn't seen it, and maybe we can blame it on COVID or whatever. But you're right. You didn't have to really necessarily know the basketball players were around. You would just look around and you see three or four guys that were all 6'6" and taller, and you knew, oh, hey, there's the basketball team. Uh, and you did see a lot more of that. And like I said, I don't know if that's COVID related or whatever, but you could tell this team was not. Um, something was missing, and it got worse as the season went along. Leadership, maturity. He talked about. I don't know. Nate Oates talked about that. Even talked about the maturity that Notre Dame showed, and the leadership Notre Dame showed, and he said it in a different way, but he said like Notre Dame had 4 1,000-point scores. We have one. Their maturity and their veteran leadership showed. Well, what he was really saying was we had no maturity and veteran leadership. And you just, huh?
I want to ask you one question before you go. I know you're up against a break.
That's fine.
That one question, please. How do you fix it?
Well, actually, you may let some of them go. I think Alabama has a whole new roster next year. I think there's a couple guys. I think it's very possible that the guard play and the guard leadership was Alabama's problem. Quinterly, Shackelford, and I'm putting JD in there not because I think he was the initiator of the problem. I think he was a threat. I think that I don't think the older guys accepted him. I think they were intimidated by him. I think that's why Shackelford left. And then I think when he came back, and I think Coach Oates and them tried to coach him out of who he was. Did you see how that young man played in the first few minutes of that second half?
Oh yeah.
What happened? Why did he stop playing like that? It was almost like, okay, we let him isolate a couple times, 3 times in a row, boom, 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 then boom. We didn't do that anymore. Well, was that because they changed or did we change? Did we not have sets to get him one-on-one? He could have taken that guy all day long. And he did for a few.
He's the best player.
Huh?
He's the best player. He is the best one-on-one player that Bama has right now.
Yep. But they didn't. And then like after we did it a few, then we tried to go back to the, 3-point line, drive and kick, and anyway. Yeah, I how you get it back is probably roster shakeup, and change of culture. And he's gonna have to. I think you're gonna see a couple guys go into the transfer portal. I don't think Quinlan's back. I think Shackelford's gone, and JD may be gone because they're still projecting him as a first rounder. So you could end up with 3 guards gone.
One and done.
Yeah.
Well, one and done.
Yep.
I hate to say this. I hate to say this, and I don't want to say I'm racist or prejudiced. Hey, but we need to get a white guy out there that's fundamentally sound, that can shoot the ball, that can play defense. We got to get one. We ain't had one in a long time. You don't want to dunk the ball. You want to do a layup. We need to get a Larry Bird out there that just want to be hard nosed. Let's look at Gonzaga. That boy Gonzaga. I want to take his birth certificate. I thought he was like 60 years old. Well, he'll go back to the 80s for real.
Yeah, well, and I get what you're saying on what type of player that you need to mix in with that talent. You need a guy, what was it, Carmack, whatever his name was for Notre Dame, that went off for 29 against us. He's a role player, but when he gets hot, you can't stop him. So, all right, thanks, Alan. Appreciate you, man.
You have a good one.
You too. All right, coming back on the other side, we'll continue this conversation on the Martin Houston Show. Thanks to the great folks over at Alabama One. Alabama One is your one source for all your financial needs right now. We have 2 great promotions that will slow down your interest rates. One is the balance transfer credit card, balance transfer, 0 balance transfer fee, 0 annual fee, 0 APR for the first 6 months, and interest rates starting in the low, around 7.99 up to 17.99. Cashback rewards. Also, the HELOC home equity line of credit rates as low as prime minus 0.25. Local servicing, no origination fee or closing costs, and up to 100% financing on that home equity line. Go to alabama1.org, click the banner and apply, or stop by one of our branch locations where we're open to serve you. That's Alabama One, alabama1.org, Alabama One together.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, no wrecks. Things pretty quiet on the roadways this morning. Remember, spring break's over, so you can expect more traffic. Just be careful this morning. If you do see conditions, give me a call, 205-886-8886. Townsend Nissan has an amazing selection of new cars, trucks, SUVs, and they really want your trade. Go see them, you'll save. I'm Captain Ray.
Hello, this is Martin Houston with the Martin Houston Show, and I want to tell you about one of our great sponsors, Overflow Express Wash. Their mission is to provide great customer service with a showroom clean car and an exceptional customer service experience. They have the basic car wash that starts at $7, but you need to check out the premium wash packages, which start as low as $12 and go up to $20. They also have a membership wash club that you can get for starting at $23.99, going up to $39.99. In other words, just double the regular premium package, drop a penny, and you can be one of the great members of Overflow Express Wash. My family and I keep our cars looking good inside and out by using Overflow Express Wash. They're located on Skyland Boulevard right next door to Alabama One, or you can find them online at overflowexpresswash.com. Andy Phillips and his team look forward to making you a part of their team.
My caretaker was very rough with me. I thought they did it because I wasn't moving fast enough.
Elder abuse is a crime, and together we can stop it. If you or someone you know has been abused, neglected, or exploited, call the Adult Abuse Hotline at 1-800-458-7214. That's 1-800-458-7214. Sponsored by the Alabama Department of Human Resources, the Department of Justice, ADECA grant number 18VA-VS050, the ABA, and this station.
Do you have chronic joint pain like in your knees and hips? It's time to think about an exciting new way to treat joint pain with biologic therapies, regenerative solutions. I'm talking about QC Kinetics, now available here. Hey, it's Gary Harris. Lots of people here have called QC Kinetics already. They are the nation's leader in helping people deal with chronic pain with no surgery, no drugs, no steroids, and no downtime. These natural pain treatments can actually repair and restore damaged tissue in your joints with long-lasting results. I'm telling you, biologic solutions help your body heal itself. If you have joint pain due to arthritis, lower back pain, shoulder pain, you need to change the way you think about pain treatments and discover the biologic therapies at QC Kinetics. Get moving again. Get your life back with no surgery and no drugs. Call QC Kinetics now to learn more at 205-686-1941. That's 205-686-1941. If you have joint pain due to arthritis, lower back pain, shoulder pain, you need to change the way you think about pain treatments and discover the biologic therapies at QC Kinetics. 205-686-1941. Get real pain relief today.
Straight Talk Wireless now has the new iPhone 13 with cinematic mode, which lets you focus on what matters. And with Straight Talk, you can focus on getting the best deal. Our Silver Unlimited plan is just $45 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data. And it runs on the largest, most dependable networks, now with nationwide 5G. With the iPhone 13 on Straight Talk, you can share whatever you want, wherever you want. Straight Talk Wireless. 5G capable device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
Welcome back to the Martin Houston Show. The sound of Bama sports. Your show, your team, on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show on Tide 100.9. We're able to keep doing this because of great folks and great sponsors like yourself. And, of course, we have our friends over at Overflow Express Wash. Overflow Express Wash, 2 locations to better serve you, one off of Skyland Boulevard in Tuscaloosa and one off of Founder Creek Road in Northport. That's Overflow Express Wash. Overflowexpresswash.com is where you can find them, helping you keep your car clean inside and out. Go check them out. And hey, listen, it's worth the package $23.99, starting as low as $23.99 for monthly all you can use wash. That's overflowexpresswash.com. And hey, listen, you may be a business owner out there looking for a great way to promote and grow your business. We'd love to add you to our roster, be part of our starting lineup. And you can email me at martin@martinhouston.org and say interested. And then I will follow back up with you and get you on the starting roster, starting lineup for the Martin Houston show. All right, Mason, man, interesting conversation in that previous segment there. Let's start a little bit, and I'd like to get your thoughts when we go back to the Alabama Crimson Tide. Were you surprised by the speed in which Quinterly made the announcement he was out of here?
Obviously, go do what's best for yourself. If he feels that he has an opportunity to maybe play in the NBA, and that's certainly his own business. But I was a little surprised to see that come out so quickly following the game.
Yeah, I actually thought when it got hurt, I said, well, we may have one of our guards back, Quinterly, because right now you have to think that Shackelford, who was wanted to leave last year and transfer, that most likely he's out of here. Quinterly, I thought, was out of here for sure before the injury. Thought after the injury he may be back. And then JD is still being talked about as a first round draft pick, despite the freshman woes that he showed at times. So little surprised by that. But do you feel even more confident now in making a statement that this team was maybe a little disjointed and disarray, and maybe not to the point of complete disaster, but Nate Oates may have lost this locker room, and it's a good thing it's the end of the season, or Alabama could find themselves on a downward spiral that would have been really, really bad, even worse than it was.
Yeah, I think I agree with a little bit of what you're saying. I think there was a point in the season where he did seem like Nate kind of lost the locker room a little bit. He kind of lost the ability to get these guys motivated. But I don't know if it was necessarily anything on him so much as it was just this team. It just seemed like nobody really wanted it that bad.
Well, but that's on the coach. Right? Who?
Point, yes, I guess it is. But also, there's only so many things the guy can do. He's very obviously frustrated in a lot of his press conferences and stuff this season, and it seems like he really has kind of tried everything he can do, and he just had a loss.
What did he try? I never saw anybody come. I never saw any bench rotation. He did that one time where he brought a couple of kids from Mountain Brook off the bench, but he never tried any of the other guys. So but you can't. It has to. The Buck as the leader, the Buck has to start with him. He either it has to be what type of players are you recruiting? How are you motivating them? What have you allowed to go on? What have you done to correct it? But it has to start with him. You can't blame someone. You can't blame someone else if he's the head guy. And I'm not saying it's a complete shambles or whatever, but I think he is. I think he has a very interesting challenge, and maybe he's allowed some things to go on. He may have to make some radical moves like Saban did when Saban fired just about his entire coaching staff, knowing that it was going to cost him for a year or two, but he had to change that culture. All right, we got Jumbo. Jumbo, you're on with the Martin Houston Show. What's on your mind, sir?
Hey, good morning, Martin. I haven't talked to you in a while. I think Coach Oates is some of the blame of this, but the bottom line with this team, with these players, there wasn't a team. They were all out for themselves. They didn't play. There was a few games they played together, team, but my thing is, how in the heck do you beat Gonzaga, Houston, Baylor,
You beat a top-ranked Tennessee team, top-ranked Arkansas team. You beat LSU, who was ranked, and so on and so on. Then you lose a couple other teams you should have lost to.
Did we have Jumbo? Did we possibly have the best win in terms of beating Gonzaga when they were playing well early in the season, and the worst loss in the same year by losing to Georgia and giving them their first SEC win? Did Georgia beat anybody else in the SEC?
No, they did not. But the thing is these players, you listen. I'm a basketball player and a coach, and I play football too. But I'm better at basketball. I've coached quite a few teams in the military and here in town. You can get your players motivated, but they're the ones who have to go out there and play the game. And if they're not playing up their ability, and quote Coach Saban, we're going to put the best players into positions that's going to give us the win.
Okay, stop right there. Stop right there, Jumbo. Put the best players where?
In position to win.
Okay, what do we do? What's our offensive set when drive and kick isn't working?
Okay, one more time.
When our drive and kick to the 3-point line is not working, what do we do? What's our offense? What position does our team, what does he put them in when our drive and kick, when the threes aren't falling and the drive and kick isn't working? What do we do as a basketball team? What's our offense?
What I did was try to go inside, and then when they double down on that, you shoot a high percentage shot.
Not what did you do? What does this basketball team that we just watched this year? Hey, listen. That and please don't hear me being coach. I think Coach Oates is a good coach. I think he has a great system. But these coaches, man, they have film, and we had turnovers a lot because everybody knew what our passing lane was, and we refused to take any short game. We didn't take the short game. We don't take the elbow shots. We either try to drive to get a layup or kick it to the 3-point line. Well, teams have learned that, and I'm not being ugly. He was a high school coach, did awesome. Buffalo wasn't at Buffalo very long, right? How long was he at Buffalo?
5 years, 4 years.
I don't know. I mean, a couple years, not that long, right? And now he's at Alabama 3 years in, and they're getting him. He didn't have the defensive players, so he didn't recruit guys who play defense the way his scheme allows. You take how many breakaway points did this Alabama team get this year versus last year's team? Okay, that's one of their ways. How bad was this team in shooting threes? Not very good. All of that, but what did we do to change that? And then you add to the other side, you talk about what would you say you would do? You said, I try to work it down inside. Well, we never tried to work it down inside. We have a 7-footer that we didn't play through ever. Even when our shots wasn't falling, we still would shoot 35 threes.
I agree, Martin. I'm not going to argue that point, but the thing is if these guys are out there not playing, you jerk them out and you put in somebody who wants to play. Now, if you got people coming off the bench that are not that experienced, I understand that, but the thing about it is it's next man up, and I truly believe in all this. You have all your players ready to play. If these guys had played together a lot better as a team, and instead of shooting the threes, started shooting high percentage shots, and get their confidence back up, then maybe go back out and start shooting threes. Now, they should have adjusted on offense and tried something different, which I didn't see a lot of. But the thing about it is I don't think this team played together, but maybe a handful of games as a team.
And so that's what I'm saying. Is that the players or the coaches, Jumbo?
I think it's both.
Okay. I agree.
And I think Coach Oates was part of the blame of this, but he can't make the players shoot. They're the ones who's the athletes. They have to make the plays. And it's just a matter of these guys doing what they have to do. I mean, look at the rebounding. Our rebounding was awful. Turnover percentage was awful. Free throws weren't that great. And if you correct half of those, we win at least I'd have to say at least 7 or 8 more games.
Yeah.
What we did.
But yeah, and I to me, Jumbo, I guess it becomes who gets that ready. If are we expecting this freshman class to come in and correct that, or are we expecting the coaches to correct it? Because we're going to have the same thing next year. You're going to have more talented guys, but they're going to be brand new, so they're not going to be experienced either. So if the coach couldn't fix it this year, and I'm not saying he can't, I think this team, there was something that happened with the chemistry that he couldn't fix, and the only way he's going to fix it is roster management. So, all right, Jumbo, I appreciate you, man.
Let me throw this at you.
Go ahead.
I know you got to go.
No, go ahead.
My first team that I picked out here, we went undefeated. I never watched none of them play one play before I picked them. I picked 10 players. Now, this is what I did as a coach. We played our first game. We blew the team out. And then I sat and watched every other game of teams that were on our schedule. And I told my guys, and they will all bounce for this, I told them, I said, if you guys play the way that I know you can play, and you listen to me, we'll go undefeated and win this thing. Well, we went undefeated regular season. We won a tournament. We won the whole thing. These kids listened to me, but I scouted every team. Even after that, I would go watch the next team we play and learn more about them and told them what we had to do, and we won every game. This is coaching and players. You got to have the right people in the right position. They got to want to win, and they got to look at themselves in the mirror and say, do I want to get better to where I can go to the NBA, make the money? Do I want to be a champion? Do I want to do this? You have to have that in yourself. And these kids had a lot of heart and determination, and they listened to me. And I'm saying Coach Oates is part of this, but I bet next season, with these new kids coming in, I bet he get us corrected, and we'll be right back on track.
And I hope so. And I like Coach Oates, and I like what he's done. And he made a great point, John Boy, as I let you go. If someone had said we were the number 6 seed in the tournament, back-to-back tournaments, we would have took it. If we had said this where he'd have the program, it's just disappointed because the expectations jumped way out ahead of where Alabama was really at. But if you had told us at the beginning of the season we'd be a number 6 seed going into the tournament, we would have all took it. All right, let's go to DW. DW, you're in with the Martin Houston Show. I'm going to let you close things out, sir.
Hey, good morning, Martin. It's a good day to be a resident of Tuscaloosa, West Alabama. Alabama's going to be fine.
Absolutely.
Coach Oates is going to be fine. You summed it up right. We were way ahead, man. If you look at who we lost last year in terms of leadership and stability, Alex Reese was a big part of that team last year. Steady, not a bunch of turnovers. We lost some key players, and it was a rebuilding year. And I mean, I'd love to have gotten one more win, and maybe if Q hadn't got hurt there, that might probably have snuck out that first round win. I don't think we had the guys to match up with Tech. You mentioned one thing about in the middle, and if you think about it, Adiaco certainly got better, but he still wasn't the guy to just pound it inside to.
Right.
He was going to just out-muscle people. And we had a couple other.
DW, is Herb Jones.
Just aren't that physical yet.
Yeah, are we finding out that Herb Jones was, all of that class came in, Sexton, Reese, Petty, and Jones. And I think because Jones came from Little Hale County, we kind of put him at the bottom of that list because he wasn't as polished offensively. But is he showing us at the next level that he actually was as talented as those guys and had the work ethic? And we lost a better ball player than we thought.
You got there with the work ethic. If you know the stock of folks that Herb comes from in Hale County, then that explains a lot. And a lot of just hard work and perseverance, and folks just do the right thing. And Herb's there. Hey, don't discount Petty, man. At times his defense was good and rebounding.
No. I'm not saying. I'm saying we had 4 good players.
He wasn't just a standout
there 30 foot outside and shoot. But I tell you one thing, when Petty was on the wing out there, they had to honor him whether it was hot or not. That just opened up the floor for the other guys.
Oh, I wasn't downing Petty. I'm saying that Herb Jones was a much better player than I think we even realized why he was at Alabama, and he's showing that at the next level. He did. I think Petty got plenty of respect at the college level. I think Herb got it by the end, but I think Herb had even more to his game and meant more to this team than we even realized in terms of every aspect of the game.
Well, he's improved in 2 years' time. Herb Jones improved greatly. So, all right, brother, have a good one. Roll Tide.
All right, appreciate you, DW. All right, hey, listen, I don't want anyone out there listening to this show today to think that I'm off the Nate Oates bandwagon. It's the end of the season. Saban always does it. He does self-evaluation. I'm sure that Nate Oates has started with himself. What could he have done different? Who can he do it differently with? And this Bama team will be back. As I said, we were probably ahead of schedule. And with the success over Gonzaga early in Houston, maybe, just maybe, our expectations got a little high on this team. Will Nate Oates get it all back together next year? Probably so. And we'll make another interesting run. I make the third tournament 3 years in a row. Program headed in the right direction. Hey, we'll talk football tomorrow, and I'm sure there'll be a little hangover from the basketball as well. You listen to the Martin Houston Show on Tide 100.9. And remember this, trust in the Lord always, lean not your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge him, and he will direct your path. Roll Tide, guys.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan traffic.